Welcome back to the vlog and welcome here to Ayura. Got my wife Chelsea on board today with us today. We're just doing 15 minutes back to Goroka. Just coming back from Australia with a bunch of cargo, so we'll get started before another rain shower comes through. Here's on, fuel pump on. A low start. We're 14%, we'll introduce our fuel. Looks like it's getting a little bit sunnier out. Make sure my NG comes up over 30 and climbing, just don't have a hung start. Then watch my ICT to make sure I don't have a hot start. Alright, generator on, prop forward, our V2 track on. Alternator, and auxiliary. Moresby 6622, November Tango Zulu taxi.
November Tango Zulu Moresby, go ahead.
November Tango Zulu taxi, Ayura, Goroka, 2 POB.
November Tango Zulu traffic, Sierra India 5. Long range helicopter divided nanti na po Ayura. Now on descent at 706. Estimate Ayura 20.
Copy Sierra India Lima, November Tango Zulu.
All stations Ayura and November Tango Zulu, Sierra India Lima, 8 miles to the north. Over the lake currently, 7,500 on descent will be circuit area 10.
November Tango Zulu, copy Sierra India Lima, now back taxiing for departure Goroka. All stations Ayura.
I'll stay clear of you till you're out.
And Papua New Guinea. Alright, it's going to be sloppy on takeoff, which means probably my cameras are going to get mud all over them. So hopefully we can get some rain. There's been rain showers going through every maybe 15 minutes since we landed. But I thought on this flight we would cover some questions some patrons had asked my wife. And I didn't think I had to get some questions from the last flight I did with her. So this one we have some questions from you guys and some other viewers.
Yeah, India Lima, copy.
On things that you'd like to know about either PNG or just life living in PNG as an expat. It cleared up really quick. It was raining like not even 10 minutes ago. Alright, flaps are set, indicated, and verified. Let's get my trim set up. We'll be rotating at 58 today, not above 8,000. It's just 15 minutes over there. We'll be speed alive by the ramp up there, otherwise we'll board on the runway. It's probably slippery today, but if we need to, we'll just go straight ahead. After takeoff, we'll pitch for 85 knots, consider EPL. Consider feather. 80 full flaps, left-hand turn, lower terrain, cut off, pull off, and shut off emergencies and masters, and make my call on this frequency. Alright, ignition condition. It's 20 fuel and harnesses. Already got our takeoff clearance, SAR, and 1490 for 1440. All stations are Ayura and November, or correction, Sierra India Lima. November Tango Zulu rolling for Goroka. All stations are Ayura. Here we go. Work is set, airspeed's alive. A little sloppy today. Come on, you know you want to get up. There you go, we'll just nose over, get our speed up for a second. We'll take the low route today just because, well, there's clouds right about, I don't know, 7,000 feet or so.
10, November Tango Zulu, Sierra India Bravo.
And Sierra India Bravo, November Tango Zulu just departed Ayura for Goroka, just passing through 5,300.
Sierra India Bravo, copy, thank you. Stations Ayura, Sierra India Lima, joining left base runway 1.
Right over 85 and climbing, we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. Would you look through some of those? You found one you said earlier? What was the question? Why don't you read it off to me?
What is your social life like? Can or do you go out on the weekends? How about your kids? What do they get to do socially? How much does COVID affect your lifestyle?
How does that work out?
I think we have had some restrictions, maybe not as bad as some places, but like the school shut down and we had to homeschool. Just in general, where we live, it's really fun for the kids because there's a bazillion. I don't even know how many kids are there. Like a lot.
Yeah, there are.
So they get to hang out with their friends all the time, and if those friends can't play, then there's other kids to play with. So, and then the cool thing is you don't have to drive, half an hour across town to, play date with your kids, for your kids. I think when we lived in Colorado, we spent a lot of time driving our daughter back and forth between her friends.
You want to make a quick call real quick? Moresby 6622, November Tango Zulu departure.
November Tango Zulu Moresby.
November Tango Zulu departed Ayura, time 11, tracking 2, 9 or 1, not above 8,000. Estimating Goroka, time 27, copy Sierra into Lima, Sierra into Bravo.
November Tango Zulu, copy, not of 8,000, stand by 4 transfer. No additional reporter traffic.
November Tango Zulu. You fully answer that one?
I don't think so. So, anyway, the kids get to hang out with their friends all the time. And then we have, there's all these other families that have similar schedules, so everyone's free in the evenings. And so or even mornings, afternoons, lots of times there's people who are, you can have coffee with or...
I kind of like to think of it...
It's fun.
I think of it just like some town from the 1950s.
Really
some little
small town.
Puny little town in the 50s. And people are actually still friendly and still talk to you and yeah. What was one of the other questions on there? What we'll do is we'll take this low route right here. This is the Highlands Highway, if anybody's familiar with this. And this is the Compre Gap right here. There are a couple little towers up and through here, but I mean, yeah, they're not much taller than trees. They don't have that tall towers here in PNG, but we'll follow the highway down and then head on up into the Goroka Valley.
What is your typical day like, and are there other missionary families where you live? So I think our typical day starts at 5 a.m. and we get up and go work out at 5:30 for like a half an hour, and then you go back home usually to get ready for the day. I might go for a walk. And then you leave at 6:45. During school, I oftentimes teach a class. The last 3 years I taught a class, like a hair cutting and coloring class. But school just got out, so I'm still working, but I won't have to be there every day.
Because there's still missionaries around on our center.
Yeah, there's 250, was it 250 people like on our center, give or take, and then other mission organizations too, come and get haircuts and color, so.
The only downside of coming in like low through these valleys is it's usually a lot rougher. So don't keep your eyes down too long where you actually get sick.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about flying is I get sick. So do you have favorite places in Goroka that you like to go or do or shopping or just visit? My friends and I really like to go second-handing because you can find amazing deals on clothes.
They ship a bunch of clothes up from Australia.
Yeah, so
and there's really no new clothes stores unless you want to buy Mary blouses.
I mean, oftentimes, yeah, you get your clothes there before you go back to the States because you can get really nice brands lots of times for a lot less money and definitely cheaper than secondhand stores in the States.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah, like 30 cents sometimes. Like jeans might be more like $2, maybe $4 max, but 500. Yeah. That's one of the favorite things to do. There are 2 restaurants that we like to go to also, but if you go there, there's gonna be you'll know everyone there.
Yeah, you can never get away from people that you know. You can never
be alone. Even we went to the Capitol and there's a whole bunch of people from our center.
I'm going to take you by this mountain right here for straight ahead of me. I've told you about it before, but I've ridden my motorcycle up here. It's called Chicago. Super nice people up there. They're the ones who offered to make a house for me and give me some land that I can come here and visit.
I remember that.
Yeah. Anyways, been up there a few times. Really amazing view of the whole Goroka Valley. So we'll fly up over top of that. Then we will call up tower now because it's actually already just 15 miles. But I think I'm a bit too low, so let me get a little higher. This road right here too, they just paved it last year, but this was one of my favorite rides just because it goes through and it's like right on the ridge for most of the way. and it has like incredible views with like nice forests. You don't have a lot of forest around here, but yeah, it just kind of reminded me of home a little bit.
Another thing there, some people ask us where we're from.
That's hard. States.
Yeah, we've moved a lot. I grew up mostly in Alaska, but then moved to, I've also lived,
Oklahoma,
Colorado,
Michigan,
California, Kansas, Missouri, Michigan, Oklahoma, Arizona again.
We just adapt. We're from wherever we live.
So it's all good. We like it. Our kids are very, they like change too. So there's nothing here about what are the opportunities for PNG for local girls and women to get a complete education and move into a full-time career path, or is it expectations that they'll get married and have kids and keep the family? So I think that is a goal for most people would want their kids. I think every parent would want their kids to the education. That's a really, really big thing that's pushed here. I think that sometimes they may not have finances for it, so if they don't have finances, then they go around to family members and see if they can contribute to that.
Sec. Goroka Tower, November Tango Zulu.
Tango Zulu, Goroka Tower, go ahead.
Afternoon, November Tango Zulu, 15 miles to the southeast. Your circuit time, 24.
Tango Zulu, second estimate.
Time 24, November Tango Zulu.
Tango Zulu, QNH 1019, runway 35 right. Track to June 2nd on the straight in, report passing 8 miles. Unit number 2 behind Sierra Delta Charlie from the southwest, estimate here 21.
Will be number 2 behind Sierra Delta Charlie and requesting for a right base for 35 right.
0 Roger, cancel straight in, loud track for right base, report on base.
500.
For base, 35 right, 1019 or November Tango Zulu. Yeah, so like right up here, the trail goes all the way to the top. So loud. 5 miles. Where those trees are up there?
500.
Charlie, 35 right, clear to left.
Oh yeah, you can imagine living up here with the view, looking out over the whole valley. It's really beautiful. It's really cloudy today. With how beautiful it was, we just flew back from Moresby today at 16,000, and it was just like perfectly blue skies on top of all this crummy, cloudy weather. All right, we'll throw a landing light on. We're already in bypass just because we're low. Start our landing checklist. Our TAWS is already off. Our VREF. 6100, we'll land at 68 knots. Already in there. If you go around, power up 20 degrees of flaps. It's for 73, reset ITT to 740, maneuvers required. Yeah, back to that question about like, do people, is there an opportunity for ladies and stuff to get careers and stuff? It's a very important thing that their kids go to school, and they work really hard to be able to send their kids to school. There are still school fees here. Nothing is just 100% free because the kids will actually live.
Schools. Yeah.
There's actually, we're going right over there off to the left. That is the Benna High School over here. And some of our friends have sent their kids there. I think actually that's probably where they went. But the kids will live out there in high school age and and then come back during the terms. Even though it's not that far away, they still will live at the school.
I think that's part of the fees too. It's just like boarding fees.
Yeah, exactly. Prop and harness. We're 7 miles out. We can push our prop forward.
And like as far as working jobs too, like our center employs like 90 people.
Just locals
local
in our
people.
area.
And oftentimes if they go to university and they come back, they can get a job. They can get a job.
Some of our friends have sent their kids down even down to Madang, the university, and then they came back and they're working in our finance office and stuff. Yeah. So, if Monster ever wants to sponsor me, I'll drink a Monster in every one of my videos. Go 10 degrees of flaps now that we're below 138 knots, just about ready to join into a right base. Goroka Tower, November Tango Zulu, joining right base, 35 right.
Tango Zulu, 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 35 right, November Tango Zulu. It's my power to slow down, 20 degrees of flaps, below 120. you guys are interested in picking one of these up for yourself or home sim, I've got these on my site. And if you're a home simmer and you want to experience PNG fly around, I've got that exact same route that we just took, the low route from Ayura here into Goroka, with charts and things like that, if you guys like, you know, recreating these types of flights on my Patreon page. So I'll leave a link down to that if you guys are interested.
500.
Just level off. I'm getting a little bit low and reduce my power to slow on down to my VREF. There's the full flaps. Checklist is complete. We would have been cleared to land. Turning final. We'll maintain our VREF all the way down to the ground, 68 knots. We'll land before the 500-foot marker because the runway kind of goes up and then drops off, and if you land at the wrong place, it kind of makes it a hard landing because the ground's kind of coming up on you. There's our 68 knots, but shallow though. Knots of tailwind, continuing. A hawk. Short and sweet. Glad we had nice little weather. Just how crummy it is getting. Looks like it's gonna be a rainy afternoon. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed hearing some of these answered questions, or you'd like to find out more, you can even leave some questions down below for maybe next time. Consider subscribing if you guys like this kind of content. Got videos out every week, a couple times a week on Sundays and Thursdays. And smash that like button if you did actually enjoy it. For our blowers and everything else. Thanks again, guys. See you next time.